qualifies for IPL Face Off. And Legion, they do have the option to go ahead and grab blue side. Karthus going to be the first ban out. He's a pretty good farmer in mid. Do not want to see him sending out nukes from orbit.
Yeah, I mean, he's just an all-around strong champion.
Yep.
We'll see what Legion tries to do. Now that they have the full lineup, they have Prolly in, I don't expect that we're going to be seeing any Poppy mid. I don't expect that we're going to be seeing Caitlyn mid.
Yeah.
Just a one-time show for Atlanta. I mean, you know, they might be working on that kind of stuff, but because Atlanta is very versatile and plays those kind of champions well, they were just like, whatever, you know, we're not going to play our standard comps. Let's do something fun.
Has Orbit passed on their first ban? I think they may have. They just passed it on.
So we'll figure out what's going on with them if we have to restart this and go into the bans. But I don't know, we'll have to see. I think some of the champs I would consider banning for Orbit is definitely get rid of the Kennen. That is a common pick that Legion would play a lot in that mid lane for Prolly. I don't know, it's tough to say. There's a lot of options for Legion, but they do tend to like those AoE comps and then support junglers on Loud Immortus. He's, you know, known for playing a lot of those. Actually playing Nunu recently, so
good.
Nunu jungle again. Since the patch, it has been buffed.
It's back.
Yeah, bringing it back.
And that's what I used to do a lot of the time. Like, you know, when I was first starting out the jungle. Oh, there we go. Okay, so Orbit did pass in the first ban, and they're going to go ahead, and their second ban is going to be Kennen. But
they're trying to trick Legion into thinking that
they're AFK.
That no, actually, this doesn't make sense. All right, yeah, no, maybe I was going to say if Orbit was first pick, then they could, you know, skip their first pick in order to trick the opponent into thinking that they are first pick, which I've seen that before in ranked. It just is kind of screwy. You leave a champion open, you don't want to, but probably a mistake there. Unfortunately, they did pass on the ban, so we'll see. But getting rid of a couple of those tanky champions. And Orbit, they definitely like running those tanky comps. We've seen it a couple of times from them. The other day, I'm trying to remember who they had played, but they had beaten someone, and they ran a basically all-tank team. They had Ryze, Urgot, Shen, Lee Sin.
Yeah, I have like a fresh new notepad here, so I'm like all new notes from here on in.
Well, it was a community caster game anyway.
Oh, yeah. So. All of my records are actually like at my desk now,
being collated
and filed and scanned and mowed and painted and shaved. And Legion, first pick, gonna go with that Alistar. Not quite sure where he's gonna be, but you know, high L9, Alistar is one of his favorite junglers. Might as well just take that away from him.
Yeah, I mean, it works very well with either of their teams. And Legion, they do play a lot of Alistar support. They could also see it in the jungle. I don't think that it's a jungler that Loud Immortus usually uses because, I don't know, Alistar is a very aggressive jungler. He is that kind of support jungler, so we'll have to see. But high L9 going to be grabbing that Nautilus, so you know, definitely a nice pick there. We'll see what the rest of the team goes with. But I don't know, they've been using a lot of Ryze recently, and Soraka right now would be a really strong pick for them.
Yes.
It would give them that really strong support, it gives them a lot of flexibility, and then goes with their tanky team.
Yeah, I've gotten to the point where like just even like
Malphite.
In my own Malphite works too. Malphite top lane, since it's, you know, here's the thing though, Malphite being picked early on is like, you know, okay, he's being thrown top, possibly could be thrown mid as well. Not quite sure yet, but it's almost a safe bet to say he's going to be going top. He's definitely not going to be in the jungle because you got Nautilus.
Very few teams are playing Malphite mid yet, and it's like a treat when it happens. It's just exciting. But it works with what Orb tries to do. They've been playing a lot of Hecarim, those kind of champions that can engage on the back line and have a lot of team fight control. So we'll see what they kind of work out. Legion going to be grabbing Vladimir, definitely a really strong champion. Morgana is open. They could go with the double AP with Morgana and Vladimir. And double APs tend to do very well against Malphite, because you can burst him down early in fights. Morgana gives a lot of team fight control. She can throw on the shield onto her AD carry, so he doesn't have to quite worry about that initiation from Malphite as much.
Yep. But it will be the Soraka pickup down bot for the support, so meaning Alistar will be looking for those aggressive ganks from the jungle. And also not quite sure where Vlad's going to be going. He could be going mid, could be going top. We don't know quite yet. We've still got 2 more picks on Legion to go.
Yeah, but Vladimir does do well against Malphite in the top lane, so I expect that's probably going to be the matchup. They could run a couple of different things. They could throw Rumble up there, you know, and then run a double AP that way. Soraka, you know, like you said, is just a strong overall pick, and it prevents Orbit from taking it. We'll have to see where Orbit goes right now. I think they would probably be looking to pick like a Taric or something. Maybe a Janna. Janna would actually work very well, give them a lot of control. And then if they grabbed Corki, because they probably don't want to allow Legion to get Corki with the team that they already have. It would just be a lot of AoE damage and a lot of team fight control.
Yeah, I'm also thinking about like potential mids as well. You mentioned Rise before.
Yeah.
Still could see, but
they have that flexibility on the last pick, though, so it's probably going to be the support. And
Oh,
actually, Blitzcrank.
we're going to Hook City. Going to Hook City,
Yeah,
so
so
Nautilus and Blitz
They
on
do grab the
on
Corki,
Orb.
which it really makes sense as a pick. It's just a really strong champion, and then Corki would be a little bit overpowered in Legion's comp right now, so preventing Legion from getting it. But Corki Blitzcrank is a ridiculous lane. I'm really excited to see this.
But the thing is, though, the way their team is set up right now, just like as the team is right now, it's a complete reliance on Corki for pretty much a good chunk of the damage.
Yeah, that's true, but they have a lot of team fight control and burst, so it's a lot of single target bursts, so they can burst people down, and they still have that last pick open for their mid lane. They will want someone who scales very well into the late game, because Malphite, he can struggle a little bit for damage, but right now they have a ton of burst damage, so it's not really going to be as much of a concern, though it is something of an issue. We'll see kind of how they run. I still think that Morgana would be a really strong pick for Legion right now. Ezreal definitely makes sense because it's the Ezreal Soraka lane. Wow, Kassadin.
But seeing the
We've seen Legion run Kassadin before, and it didn't work out well for them. But Soraka and Corki, or Soraka and Ezreal, it's a very strong lane against a kill lane. Ezreal can just farm from a distance. He's very safe and has that ranged harass. But Kassadin, that's an unusual pick.
So Morgana's open, Rise is open. Wouldn't be too far-fetched to see, I think, an Orianna here, maybe for a little bit extra teamfight control as well, just kind of try and set up everything.
Rise definitely makes sense against the Kassadin. They have to pick someone. So there it is.
There it is.
Rise is one of those champions that does very well against Kassadin. Later in the game, when you get the Banshee's Veil, you can shut down some of Kassadin's damage. And then having the Rise versus that melee champion, he can kind of abuse Kassadin a little bit early in the lane. Once Kassadin gets a couple levels, gets blue buff, Kassadin really beats any AP carry in the mid lane. So that's going to be an issue. But with the Banshee's Veil, it's just a safe all-around pick, and he does scale well into late game.
Yep. So there we go. But this is almost pretty much sealed, just waiting for the last lock-in on Orb, and these should very well be your teams. So Rise in the mid, going up against Kassadin, and you also got Corki Blitzcrank down bottom to try and grab out the Soraka Ezreal, so hopefully Soraka doesn't get caught off guard and taking a nice little detour to Pain Train Town. But you also got Vlad. He's going to be in the top lane going up against the Malphite, which it's Malphite. I think he's going to be hurting quite a bit there because he just one to two shots from Vlad can just go ahead and just melt the shield immediately.
Yeah, I mean, he should be fine. He's not going to be crushed from the lane. It's not like Vladimir is a hard counter to Malphite, but Vladimir does have the ranged harass. So Vladimir is in control of the lane. He will be able to farm safely. Malphite, it should turn into a farm lane early on, so I wouldn't really expect Vladimir to bully him out of lane. Later on, as the game progresses, Malphite does have that burst, so Vladimir will have to watch out for that. If Malphite can force out the pull before using his ultimate and Nautilus is there, then really quickly it's going to be a Malphite ultimate into Nautilus, and Vlad's just going to die. So that's something you always have to watch out for with Malphite once he hits level 6. And Vladimir does have the potential to harass him down with that sustained damage, and then also with the regen once he gets the Hex Tech. It's just the fact that it would put him in a dangerous position if he's trying to harass Malphite. So for the most part, Vladimir is going to sit back in that lane and just try and farm and get into that mid to late game. And he will be able to farm just standard items. He's not going to have to buy any defensive items against Malphite, which is the nice thing. So we'll see how that kind of works out for them. I'm really excited to see the Kassadin, though, because Kassadin, we see Kassadin back and forth a couple of times. It's an in and out kind of pick and competitive play. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Kassadin can snowball very well, but they have a really tanky team. So in team fights, if you can't burst someone down in team fights, and you walk into the kind of CC that Orbit has, that could be really difficult for Kassadin. So he can use his mobility for ganks, but once they come into team fights, Orbit should just absolutely obliterate Legion.
I mean, I can understand the pick too, though, because with the Kassadin and with the Soraka, that is the double silence.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
That could go and take out a lot of the initiation potential from Orbit. Silence down to Nautilus, silence down the Malphite, and that's two ults that you're just taking completely out from the beginning of the fight, and it could allow Legion to go ahead and just start the fight on their own terms. Get Alistar in position, he can pulverize and possibly snipe someone off with Ezreal and Vlad before the silences wear off.
Yeah, they do have some nice single target bursts, and that's what Legion is looking for. The mid lane, the Alistar could be really aggressive if Kassadin gets in with the silence, and then Alistar is able to follow it up. So Rise won't be able to get off the snare to stop Alistar's combo. So that's definitely going to be a nice potential matchup for them if they can get any early kills. Rise will have to play defensively early on because the level 2 ganks from Alistar are absolutely devastating. So we'll have to see how that's going to kind of work. And they do have a lot of damage with the double AP comp. Vladimir has that AoE and a little bit more sustained damage. And then Kassadin can kind of run in and out and try and poke people down. And both Kassadin and Ezreal are very survivable champions with their mobility. Same thing with Vladimir with his pull. He's a very survivable champion. So as long as they don't allow Orb to rush onto them, they should be okay. The issue is that Orbit has 3 strong initiation champions that are just going to be trying to force fights. And once Orbit can force a fight, Legion doesn't have the best means of disengaging. Yes, Vladimir could pull, Kassadin can riftwalk, Ezreal can get out of there. But when you consider the silences and the disables and stuff like that, once those abilities are on cooldown, they're going to easily be able to follow up on it and burst people down.
And there's one thing, if you're just joining us here too, this is nothing is being deceived for you here. Orbit did actually pass on one of their bans, and just for a little education's sake, why before I actually get into the game, why would you ever decide to pass on a ban?
You really wouldn't pass on a first ban. It's probably a mistake. A lot of times you can pass on the later bans or ban something worthless because you want to leave a certain number of champions open. If there's 3 champions that you're looking at like Nautilus, Alistar, and Soraka or something like that, then you'll leave, or Malphite in this case, you'll leave one of those champions open instead of banning it out where first pick gets their choice and then you get the leftover one. First pick will get their choice and then you get 2 champions as a result. So you see that here. They're able to pick up both the Malphite and the Nautilus, so it does work out for them. As the first ban, it's kind of weird, though. I guess it throws your opponent off guard and forces them into a different situation, but it's not as easy to time the first ban if you skip it. Like you can skip the last ban, and it's easy to time out what's going to happen. It's just the first ban's kind of unusual, so I'm guessing that he had some issues there, lagged or something.
Right. We are getting ready to start this madness. IPL Face Off qualifiers. We are in loser's bracket. Loser goes home, but the winner does indeed qualify to come to the live event. Legion Orbit heading into the first game, and there's a lot of pings going down Legion's jungle. They want to get their defense on,
yes,
but everyone's pretty much concerned about trying to secure the blue for the Alistar. But you see that Orb has already started to mobilize. They are in the side river brush. I'm not sure if Legion does get vision. Orb high L9 does poke out a little bit too far. And now Legion knows they are being invaded. Their red is pretty unsafe at the moment. But I think they may are they actually going to consider going on in? Not quite sure. But
I mean, there's really no reason for them to go in because Orbit's level 1 team comp is ridiculous.
It is pretty, yeah.
Legion, they don't want to have anything of it. It would just be a really bad decision on their part. So they actually ward by the red. On the south side, so not by the race, which is a more common warding spot, but it does give you vision directly onto the red, so you can come in and steal it when they're doing it. And then they're actually going to transition right over to the blue. They could pull the blue over the wall or try and force a fight and then really set Alistar behind, which is what you want to do since Alistar can just obliterate your team with his early ganks.
And Orbs are getting pretty close, but the vision will pop. There we go. Now Legion knows once again where Orb is, and things are getting a little bit scary. Just a little bit. If Blitzcrank could get an amazing hook over across this wall to try and pull someone to their doom. But I think Legion knows, like, okay, you know what, we'll just let them have it. They can take
Legion's going to try and force it, though. Alistar's coming up into the bush trying to catch someone out, and they already had Ezreal recall. So they have a 5v4 situation in their favor. They're actually able to push them out. And that's really great play from Legion because Alistar, based on the timing of Orb, Alistar's already behind, but Lemonation going to try and get a pull, but the minions do protect him, so he is going to be safe. So based on the timing of Orbit, Alistar didn't have any options. Like, if Orbit had maybe started blue a little bit sooner, Alistar could have been like, oh, I'm going to go steal their blue. But because Orbit had, started off at the red and then transitioned late into the blue, they didn't have any choice. So they waited a second. They're like, all right, we have to all sit here. Once Corki recalled, then they were able to go back in and force Orb out of their jungle. So really nice play from Legion.
Yeah, man, you saw Blitzcrank and Nautilus actually walked behind the mid minion wave. So they were not spotted going to their own blue. So it's a little bit, I mean, it's more than likely that they did, but Legion does not know that for certain. They do know that Blitzcrank is not in bot. That much they do know. So Ezreal and Soraka, Nubish and Demon, well, they're looking to push out just a little bit, just a tiny tad, and try and just scare Nian away from the creeps, trying to get a little bit of a farm advantage here in the early phases of the game. But it looks like Alistar, he's doing pretty good for himself. Vladimir is actually grabbing the red now. But now, you know, Nautilus is the one who's a little bit behind here now.
Yeah, Nautilus is behind because he wasn't able to get the blue. He had to come over. And then not only that, Lemon Nation actually didn't leash the blue. So he walked up, and then he did like a fake hit. He animation canceled his attack. And so then Nautilus went in, and he took some damage. But, I mean, he is fine. He's going to be able to clear the jungle pretty easily. But Alistar has the early advantage and can maybe put some pressure onto mid. And you see, actually, Nubby Pooh Bear, he's positioning himself towards the top of the lane because he recognizes that Alistar could come in there. Wow. The Arcane Shift getting out of that hook, and actually Nautilus is set up as well. So Alistar moving in, but Nautilus is here in the flash headbutt pulverized onto Nubby Pooh Bear, but High L9 is here as well, so he can get some quick damage and then back out.
Is in a bad spot. He does get hooked. He's being brought back into the grass with Nubby Pooh Bear. He's just trying to get back into the river. Do not want to give away that blue or red buff at all. But High L9 is still trying to get some damage down. It probably does flash over the wall. We'll get the safety.
Yeah, so forcing out the flash from Kassadin, helping his teammate, getting Loudon Mortis low. All around nice play from Yuzuki. I'm sorry, from High L9, able to get himself back in. And Yuzuki was coming down from the top lane to help back them up if he needed to. He was already pushed up to the tower, so he could get down there.
And, you know, speaking of top lane just a little bit too, you got to talk about Yuzuki, because right now, Cruiser and Yuzuki are pretty even for the time being. Lemon Nation, can you get something happen on Demon? We'll know the shift away. We'll get him to safety. We'll not get into the robot arm grasp. But just now, High L9, just now, grabbing the red. Vladimir is actually taking some time to farm, and Cruiser taking a little bit of damage from Yuzuki, but he should be okay. Should still be fine, just sitting around, just farming. That's what the early stage of the game is looking to be like right now. Provided High L9 is actually looking to set up for a gank once again in mid. Probably is Prism waiting for the hook. There is the flash. There is the root. And there you go. First blood. High L9.
Yeah, really nice play. And Ryze always couples well with an aggressive jungler, so they can put some pressure on Kassadin before you hit 6. That's key. And then if they get an early advantage, they can maybe pressure Kassadin's blue, not allow him to have it. And now Malphite in the top lane, actually doing a really nice job of wearing down Vladimir early. He does have some nice harass early before Vladimir, hits the cooldowns. But the big thing is if he can set himself up where Vladimir is maybe at like half health and he hits level 6 before Vladimir does, he could go in for a fast ultimate, try and pick up a kill before Vlad hits 6, and maybe when the pool is down and try and snowball off of that early advantage. Though generally speaking, Vladimir will be very safe in lane.
Yeah, I would also do keep in mind that Malphite uses mana, Vladimir does not. So Vlad can stay in the lane and just sit and chill here significantly longer than Yuzuki can. He's going to have to go back, possibly start on the Philo Stone, Heart of Gold, pretty soon, actually. How much gold does he get? He does have enough money to... He's got enough gold to buy either one, so we may actually just look to see him push into tower, go back, buy, and try and get back before anything disastrous happens.
Yeah, and he will get a Philosopher's Stone for that mana regen, like you said, needing that early mana. So we'll see when he gets back how he can control the lane, but Vladimir should generally be pretty safe. He needs to get a ward up there. He has been okay. Alistar is sitting mid, but Alistar doesn't have the flash, so there's not the threat of that combo.
Just in time, does recall before Nautilus actually comes around and spoils a whole bunch of plans, but right now, Prawley's in a little bit of a sticky situation. Nautilus setting up for another gank in the mid. He's not quite 6 yet, waiting for the hook, the root, the damage. Can they get another kill in mid? Yes, they can. And Prawley is not quite 6, but the Ignite, no, will not get the kill on the Nautilus. So
yeah, and it's really important to abuse a lane that you're expecting to want to be one of their snowball lanes, like Kassadin, before he hits 6. So really nice job from Orbit pressuring that lane when they have the advantage. His flash is down, so he has no escape path.
So things are looking pretty good for Orbit for a time being, because Kassadin probably he's getting shut down, he's getting put behind, forcing him pretty much. You're forcing him into the Philo Stone.
Coming into the bottom lane though. He might be able to catch Nian if they get the vision, but actually the Valkyrie just barely able to get out of there in time. He is going to be okay. Yeah,
he's just going to back off for now. They got a little bit too far out to actually capitalize anything, but they do know now that they saw them actually retreat when they got the vision of him. They know they have an idea. The river's warded. Latimoris may want to go ahead and get a pink or an oracles or something else to that effect. This Rocket may even want to do it too. Nubish go ahead, get a pink, put it in a river, make everything safe, make those ganks a little bit more opportunistic. Probably, are you almost 6? You're about 2/3 of the way, but good buying the wards, getting the coverage, and great timing too, because Nautilus is actually going to be around trying to steal your blue even. He's getting in position, actually wants to try and maybe get another gank, but he is way deep in enemy territory. He is 6, does have the depth charge, and probably if you don't hit 6 soon, that could mean disaster, but the wave is being pushed into tower. It looks like Nubby Pooh Bear may want to come in and join in for an attempt at this blue.
Oh, but Vladimir is coming down, and they did ward their blue because they recognize that's the issue. Loudamortis is still sitting there. They
and Yuzuki's coming down also. He's 7. He's got his ult. Probably does ding 6, so this could be a very risky fight. Loudamortis now starting on the blue, but you see Orb, they're now 3 men going in, but Nubish is here as well to look to help. There's the headbutt and pulverize Nubby Pooh Bear. They want to keep him still. Death charge going down on the Loudamortis. He will be stunned, but in the back line, he should be fine. There's the Vlad ult going down. Yuzuki, I think, completely whiffed the ultimate. Doesn't get anything off that, but Nubby Pooh Bear now running for his life. Loudamortis did go back in the fight, but now will die probably there with the wave. Getting some slows. Can he get a silence? Something, anything. Flash is being forced away by Cruiser there with the pool, keeping everybody slowed. Can something, anything, probably is very low on mana. Nubish, banana, something, come on!
Oh,
there we go.
From IL9, though, just barely able to get out of there. He would have surely gone down otherwise, so he is going to be okay. And Nubby Pooh Bear also, when he had gotten low, he actually popped his ultimate for that spell vamp and then used it. Oh,
the shield.
Can he get it? The hook once again, but the ignite should be able to take him down. Just a couple more procs.
Oh, wow.
So
nuts.
Just barely able to get out of there. Nice hook. The cooldown is refreshed, or it's not refreshed. It's reduced when you hit a wall. So, you know, when he had hooked earlier, it was a shorter cooldown. But Rise, Nubby Pooh Bear, when he was ignited, he would have gone down, but he threw off the spell vamp and then actually attacked the blue a little bit. He attacked the golem, threw off a couple of spells to regen a little bit. Ezreal is actually walking right into Corki and Blitzcrank, probably has to get out of there, and Ezreal is backing up as well, so he is going to be okay. But Orbit putting some pressure on this bottom lane.
I mean, during that whole engagement, that gave bot lane on Orb all the time to just sit around, push the tower, try and deny as much farm as possible. But alas, you know, with the pushback, probably does secure the blue. Legion does get their own blue. IL9 going to go ahead, retreat to his own jungle, grab his own. I think it would be in the best interest of the team to probably pass that off to Rise, and yes, indeed it will. Lemon Nation are going to try and attempt to grab here. No, but nice limboing under all of those Corki missiles.
Yeah, so he is going to be safe. Neither team, I don't know, we'll see if Orbit actually tries to pressure the Dragon. Neither team has really a strong Dragon team. Kassadin is really weak at Dragon. But Orbit, they probably could have a little bit of pressure. It really depends on who can force the other out of lane, but I expect it's going to be kind of a later Dragon right now. Rise stepping in the race, going to be taking those camps, will be okay. And everyone's just going to kind of sit back and farm. And that's both teams. Orbit, they want to get into those team fight stages where they can take control of the game. And Legion, they recognize they need to get some early farm to get Kassadin going so that Kassadin can start leaving lane and start putting some pressure on this game.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest benefits of Kassadin too. You have 6, you're extremely more mobile. You can just go to any lane that needs your assistance. Just go real quick in, Rift Walk, Wave, Q, done, quick kills.
Cruiser does have to watch out in this top lane because the fast initiation from Malphite could be followed up very quickly from Nautilus. And even with the pull, he will be safe for a second, but they'll actually be able to tower dive it. He throws off the ultimate, and Vladimir is going to pull to avoid that, but he still has to worry because Malphite is coming in, and actually they're kind of hesitant. So
and rightly so.
But they could have gotten that kill if Malphite had engaged onto Vladimir. They would have been able to burst him down really quickly, particularly with an ignite. They were just kind of confused, maybe a little bit of a miscommunication, and so they aren't able to pick it up, and Vladimir will be safe in that top lane again.
And Nautilus putting a ward in enemy territory in the jungle just to see if someone like Vladimortis.
Well.
Yep. Oh, Blitz. Nope. Not going to be getting anything off of that one. But I think Yuzuki may be looking to be a little bit more aggressive here. But Heil9, it seems like he wants to go ahead and stick to what he knows, stick to what has worked before, and looking for another gank onto Kassadin in mid. Granted, he does not have the ult, and Kassadin is now 6, but can he get a hook something before he gets away? Now the wave is pushed up just a little bit too far, unfortunately. But I think Alistar may actually want to make something happen here, but no, Orb. They may go for a gank down bot lane.
Yeah, and right now, Legion, they know what's going on. They were able to follow them some in the jungle. They don't want to follow into a bush, but as a result, Ezreal and Straka can play defensively, and actually Orb is waiting for Loudon
There's the hook down onto the cow, the root, everything, the Rune Prism, Navi Pooper trying to get all the damage, but down here is probably looking to silence Rise. Does not want him to get away free and easy, but there you go. Corki in the middle to join the fight, probably getting chunked out really quickly, and there you go. There's all the damage you need. Meanwhile, top lane, Yuzuki and Cruiser are still doing it out, but there you go. Yuzuki does fall to all that pressure in the end, does get the kill down to Ide Nubish, and now that's 4 members of Orb here in the bot lane. They can go ahead and grab Dragon here.
Yeah, and Vladimir was actually able to pick up the kill in the top lane against Malphite. Ezreal, yeah, we didn't get to see it, but he was focusing over the wall Rise and trying to pick him up. They are all very
Legion.
low. And
Loudon there, headbutt, pulverize, Nubby Pooh Bear. The anchor does not hit the cow, but Demonwell is not too far behind, but Loudon is looking to sacrifice himself to try and gain a positional advantage here. But Demonwell, no. I think there's an attempt at a steal or possibly a kill, but just could not get the right positioning.
Yeah, and part of the issue is that Ezreal was kind of low on mana, and he couldn't really just force a fight outright. He needs to poke people down. They were just high enough so that they were pretty safe. And Alistar trying to get in there, trying to see if he could disrupt them a little bit, get some of them kind of low so that Ezreal could pick up a couple of kills. Didn't happen, and as a result, Orb has a massive advantage in this game. And the issue is that if they have the early advantage, then they're going to have the mid game with their strong team fight presence, and it's going to be really difficult for Legion to try and pick up kills. So Legion, they need to keep Orb separate. Vladimir, he can split push that top lane because of his strength in lane, and no one's really going to be able to shut him down. And by split pushing that lane, they can maybe sustain the laning phase, keep it going a little bit longer so that Kassadin can maybe pick up some kills. But if Orbit destroys the laning phase and tries to start pushing some towers really quickly, they will be pretty successful against Legion.
Yep. So there is the 3K gold lead here on Orb. The bulk of it going to be in mid, bot, and on the jungler. But right now, Legion, they still have something good within their top lane, within Cruiser. He's pretty well farmed at the moment, leading up Malphite in gold. But I'm not sure if one champ alone is going to be enough to try and turn the tides. It's going to take a little bit more team coordination to try and finish that off. But then again, the longer Cruiser stays top lane, the more farm he's going to get, and the bigger he's going to get, and the more damage he's going to deal. And that's just always a good thing. Elimination with the grab does not get Demonwell.
Yeah, but actually Nautilus is chasing down Alistar. No, he will back off. So he does have vision of him right there. But if you can hit the hook right after the Arcane Shift, then, I mean, Ezreal would go down. And that's the nice thing with the Blitzcrank versus the Soraka is if you get the hook on Soraka, she's going to die. But it's the same thing with Ezreal. And Lemonation actually walking up, wants to get that pop-up on Ezreal. The Arcane Shift should be up once again, but he's waiting for that hook so he can get out of there. The hook misses once again. I think he was trying to time it, but actually the Valkyrie, and there's the ultimate from Demonwell in the opposite direction. And Nian has plenty of damage, but he has to back out of there because of the Ignite. And actually Lemonation walking back in. The last rocket is able to pick it up, so they get the kill.
I really hope that Ezreal ult was not the result of like a bug or something, because that's just no reason to be shooting behind you.
Yeah, I'm curious if it's kind of like a lot of times in the past we've seen like the Nidalee
Spears, yes.
It runs back to base. It goes like kind of backwards when you run do a quick spear out of your jump. I've never seen it before in Ezreal. My guess is that he was basically clicking right on top of his character and just clicked slightly to the left and just messed up. But we'll have to see. Like in the general confusion of it, he is talking in chat right now. Loudon is coming in the mid lane, and there's the Ignite on the Nubby Pooh Bear. He's going to go down very quickly. They are able to pick up that kill.
And the double buff will go back onto Loudon. It's going to be a good tool for the jungler to try and catch up here, because he is still a little bit behind Nautilus and gold in terms of kills and all the most other metrics right now in the game. He can definitely use that for the next few minutes to try and capitalize. Hal9 in the mid looking to dissuade probably just a little bit. There is a pretty huge anchor on that dude, but Loudmores is back. Headbutt missing the pulverize, unfortunately, but the Riftwalk from Poly trying to get as much damage as possible. Depth charge going down, but I think a Q, something, anything should be able to capitalize on this kill. There you go. Riftwalk right on top of him. It does do damage where he lands, and that was more than enough.
Yeah, and Legion's starting to take back control of this game, particularly getting Kassadin rolling, and that's what they need to do. He is pretty far behind right now, but still getting a couple of kills, that's definitely huge. And as long as they can keep the laning phase going, then they're going to be okay, because they can pick up those kills in those small 2v2 situations. But once the laning phase is broken, once Orb starts pushing or starts taking objectives a little bit later, it's going to be a struggle for Legion.
Yeah, so you mentioned a while back as well that, as soon as Rise gets that Banshee's Veil, he's going to be a lot more effective in these fights. And he's about 600 gold away from finishing that. So about next time he goes back to shop, or maybe 1 or 2 kills as he's looking to get as he's wandering down to bot. Maybe more than enough, but there you go, top lane. They'll probably Latimore's Cruiser, all 3 from Legion up here to try and take out the Malphite. Does have to ult away, but the wave and the last part of the Vlad ult will be more than enough. And Nautilus is here, but just a little bit too late. And Latimore's is going to use the opportunity and steal the red while they're in the neighborhood.
Yeah, and Legion was really far behind, but they're completely pulling this game back in their way. And the thing is, it's the laning phase still, and they're just able to run around, pick up kills, use that mobility to their advantage, and they're being extremely aggressive against Orbit right now. Rise and Nautilus walking down will be able to steal this red buff, so that's kind of a nice steal. It kind of counters out the fact that Alistar had just stolen theirs.
Yeah.
But we'll see if they kind of tower dive in the bottom lane. Ezreal and Soraka is pretty safe, but they have plenty of damage, plenty of CC, and plenty of tankiness.
They are incredibly vulnerable right now, though. But however, Depth Charge is almost back up, so I think he's going to wait 4-3, and he's going to tank the tower while the refresh is actually just come back up. Doesn't even actually need it, because that's just a huge sandwich.
Is here, and they have to watch out for the follow-up when Lauda Mortis gets in. It is still a 4v3. They're actually Rift walking in for the slow, and now Alistar is here. He might engage, but it's kind of a risky fight because it is a 4v3.
And amazingly good. The bush is where he can just go ahead and trap out Blitzcrank. That's exactly what he's going to do. And also juke out of that. There you go. There's the hook on the probably. It actually be enough. There's a Death Charge going down to Casted, and that will be more enough to go ahead and get that kill. But now it's 4-2. For Orb and Legion here, but Cruiser has now come back looking to join this fight, but Yuzuki's down here as well. Ults are down for pretty much all of Orb.
And that's the issue. Both Ezreal and Kassadin are pretty short-range champions if you want to get that full damage. Nubby Pooh Bear trying to get the snare off. So Ezreal, he does have the long-range poke, but as far as attack damage, he's pretty short-range. And so both of them, they're going to be walking into these heavy CC teams. And Kassadin, even with the Rift Walk, he can't avoid all of those disables, all the silences and snares and whatnot, and he will go down, and that's a serious threat from Orbit. Legion still trying to pressure this, though, but it is a 5v3.
Yep.
And actually, the hook into Laudamortis, the fight is starting.
There's the pop-up.
Cruiser gets in with the AoE, and they are pretty low, but Laudamortis does go down, and now Cruiser is stuck in the middle of the team. But a couple of them are going down pretty quickly. Demon Log cleaning up this, and Cruiser is still not died. There's another kill, and actually Dragon does go down. Vladimir was the one who took it, picking up the Blitzcrank on the way back, and Legion with a massive fight in their favor.
Very well done. Very well done. A significantly better improvement from last time.
Yeah,
last time
Vladimir
was a huge disaster, but now you got it this time, and the Legion's looking really good. They've managed to just completely negate the gold lead for Orb. About after this tower is going to be, they're going to have a little bit of a lead, just about 500 gold on it. But actually not even. It's actually may as well just be bang on even.
And if they can get those AoE fights to work in their favor, then both Ezreal and Kassadin are some of the strongest cleanup champions in the game. If the fights are disorganized, if everyone's low, they can just run back and forth and pick up kills left and right.
There you go. Probably we'll just go ahead, Rift Walk away to safety.
I still can't believe that Vladimir grabbed the dragon with his ultimate. Like, that's just insane to me.
That's pretty damn good on him. But it's just, but then again, it was a bit of like a hugely disorganized fight. I don't think Orbit was expecting them to actually be contested on it, considering what happened last time. So I think it took him off guard.
Surprising.
It took him off guard for sure.
And the big thing was, I mean, if they could have hard engaged on Vladimir, they could have burst him down. But the issue was with the pull. I mean, he was just able to survive just a little bit too long for them. They weren't able to grab it. In the meantime, Legion setting up, trying to maybe pick up a kill. Yuzuki should be okay, so he will be able to back off.
So there you go, Prawley. He's he doesn't know it yet, but he's finding a lot of wards, and an errant Blitzcrank grab may just find him
That'd be
out.
a pretty long-range Blitzcrank grab.
But but if he gets in position and if Prawley's sleeping if he's napping just for a moment, it could be a very rude awakening.
Yeah, and that's why he's sitting on the far side of the river, because you can actually, even if Blitzcrank was on the other side of the wall, you can't pull that far. So
always
he's going to be safe.
If you have an enemy Blitzcrank, you always need to be just conscious of where you can get pulled, what places you don't want to be in. Like if you're, there you go, headbutt, pulverize, Laudamortis trying to just focus down high all 9. Probably is here with quite a bit of damage. The Banshees has been popped on the rise, but that's not their main target at the moment. Nautilus is going to have to walk back to tower to safety. And this, yeah.
I'm kind of surprised that they forced that engage because it required Alistar to use his ultimate. So his ultimate's down. They forced out the Nautilus ultimate, so that was kind of a nice little benefit for them. They did get an even exchange there, but there wasn't really a lot of potential for them to get a kill. But what they did do, they got him low so that they can pressure him. And actually, Legion setting up for the kill in this bottom lane. They're going to be able to tank this turret. Alistar doesn't have the ultimate, but really quickly they're going to burst
right onto Nyen, and Israel with the ult is going to be more than enough, and Elimination is going to be caught behind. The shield will also not be enough. It's a 4-man push down here for Legion. It's going to be pretty easy, and the tier 1 should just go down next. But look, in the meantime though, Heil9, he's doing the right thing. You got everyone down one other lane, might as well push a lane they're not currently in, but Cruiser's also not too far behind.
Yeah, so Cruiser going to be coming in the mid lane. Legion with a nice job. They're able to pick up that tower now, and they have the turret advantage. 3 turrets down, 0 for Orbit currently, and they've pulled the gold back into their advantage. Despite being bit down 6-2 at one point, they just are in complete control of this game right now, and I still think they need to worry about team fights. You know, Orb, they're going to be pretty tanky. It's going to be tough for Vladimir to, you know, be as successful as he was in the past.
Heil9, no! Gets walks right into that bush, gets completely caught out. Disastrous face check from Nautilus there. Wow.
Yeah, I'm really kind of surprised, but they don't have good ward coverage, and it's because Inubish has the oracles. So
yeah.
All of a sudden, Legion has complete map control at this point, and they can run around as a team. They have great single target burst, and Orb can't force the fights that they would like. So we'll see if this kind of continues and whether or not Orbit's able to turn this around.
So yeah, so hopefully this should be an indication right now for Orb that they're warded pretty deep at the moment. Lemon Nation does have an oracles of his own, but that's the thing though. It's you're putting your life at stake to clear wards at this point in the game with this amount of control that Legion actually has. They just muscle in, take the tier 2 here in top, and they can just go ahead and wander in and out. If Orb is down a man, there's really no way they can fight this. Especially if the ones down are either Corki or Rise, because those are indeed the main damage dealers, and Orb is relying on Malphite, on Blitz, and Nautilus to go ahead and CC and keep everybody still.
Yeah, but as long as they can keep Vladimir out of the center of their team, where he can't get to that back line with Rise and Corki, then they should be fine, because the front line, they have a really tanky front line with lots of disables. They can control the fight. Unfortunately, they don't really have, or because Orbit has the Ezreal, or Legion has the Ezreal as opposed to like a standard AD, Malphite just can't shut someone down as easily. They have to play defensively in fights. They have to kind of retreat into this like kind of glove formation.
Orbit, they're looking to see if they can engage one. Nubish, you may not want to go in there. Oh, you may have been caught. There you go. Nice ward over the wall. You caught him out. You've seen where they were. Elimination just did not quite have the vision to go ahead and get that grab. That just a huge averted disaster, but there is a mini wave, could be tracked, and there you go, and there is the Malphite ult, keeping everyone from Legion still, and Ezreal goes down immediately. Vlad ult, we'll see what he can get with this, but Cruiser, he's being caught out, does have to pull the ultimate from Vlad, does grab Malphite off that, but there's a Shirley's and a hook. Nubish going to be caught behind. Unfortunate. That was great positioning from Orb.
And Yazuki absolutely obliterated Legion in that fight, getting right into the back line. He hit like 4 members, but the big thing was that he crushed Demon Law, and him followed up with by the ultimate from Nautilus, probably actually coming into the middle of the team, followed up by the Alistar. Nubby Pooh Bear does go down, and they're going to turn this around. Heil9's going to drop as well. Can Cassidy and get this, so he's actually not going to go for it on Lemon Nation, but a lost fight for Legion. All of a sudden, they come back around when Orb is trying to push a tower and are able to finish that off.
Do not underestimate the damage possibilities of a Cassidy, of a Vladimir, and of course, with a little bit of help, from Alistar, made that work out pretty all right. But Orb, they could have just backed. They pretty much had that fight theirs, but they wanted to get that tower, but they're down they're down Malphite. And there's a little bit out of position there, but Legion's actually going to go ahead and take this opportunity to try and rush the Baron.
It's down. It's at half health.
Exactly.
They have no idea. There's no one close. So Legion, they get the Baron. I just can't believe that they are taking such strong control over this game right now.
They're doing pretty well. They're doing pretty well considering the start. But however, there was a ward, and now Orb does actually know. They saw Demon Law actually walk back into lane with the buff. It's like, oh, okay, now we know where you were. Now we know the situation we're in. So right now, this is the time where Legion actually did back. Orb, they could use this opportunity to go ahead and rush the Dragon before Legion gets back, but the moment has passed. They're not going to be able to, even if they were actually moving there right now, because now everyone from Legion, they've backed, they've shopped, they're ready to return back into the mid. They've got a lot of good stuff in their backpacks as well. And you got Caston, he's got the Rod of Ages, he's got the Death Cap, he's got plenty of AP on him. Double Shirelias, one in Alistar, one in Soraka. They can go ahead and get whatever engagements they need. Soraka was actually moving 5 boots. It's going to be really important to go ahead and get that first silence off. That's going to be meaning the world right now to Legion to make sure to shut down all of that initiation possibilities from Orb. Vlad, you got the Abyssal. He's got a Death Cap out of his own. This is going to make sure that probably is going to be hurting that much more. It's Nubby Pooh Bear might get caught out. There is the Banshees being popped. A lot of more so we'd be able to get something off this. Does get pulled by Blitzcrank. Does have to pull the ult. And there's the Ezreal ult to go ahead and get a little bit more damage. Probably being forced out into backline. Yuzuki right out in front. But Cruiser with the ult, maybe he's going to be able to get that one anyway. And Nien just hurting so much. Double kill from Vlad after the ult finishes.
Yeah, and by Legion forcing the initiation, they take that advantage away from Orbit. All of a sudden, they can't take down Demon Lull. They can't get into their back line, and Legion just crushing Orbit right now. Like this game is almost over. They're going to get this inhibitor. They're going to maybe even be able to pressure the Nexus. I don't think so. I think they're going to have to back off after here.
I think they have enough time, but I think it would be more worthwhile to go ahead and take a turret that's already being pressured like bot. The Loudon Mortis does get pulled closer into the tier 3 from Lemonation. Probably is still there to bring off some silences, and Loudon Mortis actually does go down. That fight Cruiser does finish off the kill onto Nautilus. Silence go down. Nubby Pooh Bear. Can he do a whole lot? Not really. But Demon will shift away. Will he does he get out in time? Yes, he does.
Yeah, and so a couple more kills. That is going to result in this bot turret going down. But Blitzcrank, Malphite, and Corki are trying to force a fight here. A couple of them are kind of low. They do have to back off, though. Vladimir and Cassin are both really high health, so they have to watch out for that kind of damage. But Legion, they have the follow-up, and they're able to control the fights. I mean, just the burst from Alistar and Vladimir alone is able to win them fights, and then Cassidon and Ezreal, they can follow up with that kind of sustained damage, and it's working out very well for them. The Cassidon pick is extremely surprising to me, how successful it's been in these later fights, because I thought that the CC would be a little bit too much from Orbit. A lot of times burst and CC, you can take down Cassidon quickly, but because they have 3 major threats right now, it's difficult for Orbit, and by Legion forcing the engages themselves, they take the pressure off themselves. They allow Ezreal and Cassidon to be safe in the backline.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm pleasantly surprised. I really am. And you saw Rise. He does have his own Banshee's Veil, but it's not really doing a whole lot for him. And what it's really doing is blocking, the big initiation burst from Loudon Mortis. But that's the thing with Alistar too. If Alistar engages on someone with a Banshees, even if you get the headbutt off, it's still changing the position of Alistar. Granted, the damage was reduced, but remember, there's a second hit to that. You have the Pulverize, and this doesn't protect from that.
Yeah, so we'll see how Orbit can kind of stall off. They have decent wave clearing potential. Legion, I'm not sure that they're going to want to force a fight underneath a turret or can play defensively, hook some people back in. So as a result, they can kind of stall a little bit, but because that mid inhibitor is down, it allows Legion an opportunity where they can maybe push down both top and bottom and then use that mobility of theirs to try and pick off kills, or just set up in Orbit's jungle, try and burst people down and very quickly put them out of position and then just win the game.
And the Baron buff is just expired, just left. So 33:30 is when it's going to be respawning. So it's not too far away. And now this is, Orb. They have an opportunity here to try and make something happen now that the Baron buff is gone. And they're just slowly looking to push out of their base. Granted, the inhib in mid, still waiting for that to respawn. They just need to go ahead and try and deflect the army as much as possible. But this is also Legion's time. Just go ahead, grab all the objectives out of the jungle. Just wipe it clean. Just play janitor. Just take care of all the neutral creeps just to make sure that Orb.
Is that what Oracles is? Oracles is the janitor and you're sweeping up the wards?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah, why not? There he goes. There you go. That's a good janitor. Yeah.
Good work.
I'll give him a pat on the head.
Probably in the meantime, sitting down bottom, he has the mobility.
Ooh, he's getting caught out there.
The flash from Nubby Pooh Bear, the quick burst, he does go down very quickly.
But while he did go down, Legion, they have a very small window of opportunity to try and pressure top.
Done.
But
no window.
No window. There you go. No more. The creeps just weren't there. Creeps were not there.
they wanted to split push. I mean, it makes sense for them to split push if Prawley can move around. But the fast engage from Orb, the flash from Nubby Pooh Bear, he was able to get that advantage, and they can't fight for 4v5. I mean, obviously, so
yeah.
they will have to back off.
Granted, everyone on the team, I mean, yeah, Cassidy, I think, would definitely be their best choice for a split pusher, but he's not the most optimal split pusher because, yeah, if you get engaged like that so hard, you're not getting away from that because there is a lot of CC still on Orb, and he was a victim of it. He got caught out alone.
But that's more so a result of Orbit's team, the fact that they have a high CC, high damage team, than it is of Cassidy. It's the fact that Cassidy usually would be safe, usually would be able to get out of there with the Rift Walk, but they have such great follow-up, and that was always a concern this game for them. So he's going to want to play a little bit more defensively, sit back a little bit. They need wards in Orbit space, just right in the middle so that they can try and keep track of where Orbit is. That helps to have the minions there to push up, but he needs to know if there's going to be 3 people bearing down on him, just going to flash after him, because he got off the Rift Walk, but then they were able to follow it up, and I don't know, just really quickly he went down.
Baron will be up in less than a minute, so I think it would be in Legion's best interest to start setting up for it, and they indeed are. The wards are just about to expire, the critical choke points, so you may want to go ahead and refresh those while they're here. But they're just looking to camp out. They're just camping out, pitching a tent over by red buff, and I'm not sure if Orb is actually going to go ahead and fall for it, though, because that's not the most common path directly to Baron, but maybe Lemon Nation may actually will. And there you go, there's the headbutt pulverize, and once again, a snipe out from Legion. I didn't think they were going to go that way. I really didn't.
Legion has so much burst damage that they've been able to pick people off multiple times, and that's exactly what they need.
Wow.
Or they can't allow that to happen, but because no one runs CV anymore, it's been months since I've seen a CV, those kind of things happen. Like, it's just a natural result. And so Legion now, they're going to be able to pick up this Baron, drop him very quickly, and then they can, again, just continue to put on the pressure. Round number 2. All right, let's try it again, guys. We got the inhibitor last time. Let's try, get this inhibitor, then split push, see if we can get this working.
Yep, the next Baron will be up at 40-40, but I don't think we're going to, I don't think we're going to even get to that point because there's too much pressure coming from Legion. They may actually win on this push. The inhibitor does need to be taken out, but it should be going down pretty quickly. But granted, Lemon Nation is back, but it's just a matter of what can you do against a push like this. With a team like Legion, they have a lot of damage on them. They have the Baron right now. They're in the power spot. Yeah, Orbit just needs to play on defense. They need to play hard defensive mode here. They may be able to snipe somebody out. If Lemon Nation gets the godlike grab on someone like through a wall, that could be enough.
Yeah, and the big thing for Legion right now is just to play slow, play kind of defensively, allow Orbit to make a mistake, and then capitalize on it because they have the inhibitor down, they have that advantage. And Kassadin trying to kind of decide where he wants to go right now. He can either go mid or go top, depending on if they get vision of them, but they need vision of Orbit right now.
Yeah, there are mutual wards actually on both sides of this wall. But yeah, Kassadin does not want to. Is he trying to snipe out Malphite? I think he is. But the Rift Walk will keep him safe for time. He's just trying to pull people out. He's like the bait on the end of the fishing line. It's like, looking pretty tasty. I think you kind of want this kill. I think you totally don't want to be defending your tower that we're pressuring.
Oh, but
wow.
Taking a ton of damage from Kassadin. And actually, the ultimate from Ezreal almost picking him up.
200
he has to
health.
get out of there.
Wow, and okay, this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity that needs to be made before Nian actually recovers.
None of their lanes are pushing, though. And
yeah.
So, in order to be successful in these kind of situations, you need to push up all the lanes. So they need to push top lane up, and they need to push bot lane up so that they can start taking these towers. Right.
Nian's back.
And so Orb they can hold off indefinitely, basically. Legion doesn't want to push underneath their turrets. They need to get a quick burst. But Orb should be pretty safe to hold off right now unless Legion starts changing their tactic.
Oh, there you go. The prism through the wall probably does get set still for a second there. Silence in response. Nubby Pooh Bear trying to get as much damage possible. But, there is, again, like I mentioned before, the danger that probably can actually be grabbed through this wall by Lemon Nation if he gets the right vision. And I think he's waiting for his moment. But there is still the remaining members of Legion looking to pressure this tower, very much so. And there you go, Prawley, he's getting sneaky. He's making his presence known in mid. But there's no creep wave pushing. Like every time Prawley's there to try and make something happen in mid, there are no creeps. There is no pressure.
Yeah, but Cassidy, I mean, his
Oh,
pressure
there's
is
the
so
hook right down the lot of Mortis. He will get made still in the prism. Has he popped the ult yet? Yes, there he goes. And the ult is back for Ezreal. Once again, elimination. Will he be the first one to go down? Yes, you will be. But there you go. Nien has no choice but to retreat. He's at half health. He's looking pretty weak at the moment. And there you go. Legion should be able to pressure his tower pretty easy. A lot of Mortis don't die. That'd be very sad for us.
Yeah, and that's the fight that's lost it now. They lose the inhibitor Nien almost going down, and so Legion can pressure this very easily for this win. It's going to be very difficult for Orb to fight back, but the hook, I mean, if you can get Cassidy or if you can get Ezreal or Vladimir, that's something, but not Alistar. It doesn't help you at all. They're able to take down the bot turret, going to get this bot inhibitor pretty easily. Now the Mortis with the flash in, the headbutt back on Pooh Bear. Cruiser is following up with Demon Wall in pursuit as well. Probably actually very close to going down, but he will be able to get out of there. And 3 inhibitors are down. Legion really in great control of this game. Yeah,
there's plenty of time. Pooh Bear's not going to be back up for another 50 seconds. Hooks are inconsequential when you only have one major damage dealer on your team, and that's the end. And he's getting pushed back to base so easy, like 2 shots, and he's already going back, you know, waiting for a bandage on his knee and a kiss from mom. But there you go.
Cassidy, I just, you know, I swear, I guess I'm underestimating Cassidy because I recognize, yes, he snowballed very well, and his late game is incredible, but it was just like the blink of an eye how quickly he was able to transition from, you know, Cassidy's weak early game to that really strong mid game. And a lot of it was the pressure that they were putting on top lane and putting on all the lanes. Cassidy just able to run back and forth with Loud and Mortis and pick up kills, and then being able to win those early fights, particularly the Dragon fight with Cruiser coming in and just the AoE rocking them, and then Cassidy and Ezreal able to follow up on that. It worked out great for Legion. They were able to, you know, pick up those kills. They have great single target burst, and Orb has just been walking right into it.
Yeah, and never underestimated Cassidy, even if he really does lose lane. Like personally, I played ranked games where actually I start out as Cassidy like 0-5, yet I will end the game plus like 10 kills and a few assists.
Yeah.
Once he is an assassin type champ. He can go in, he can rift walk, and he can get quick kills if the opportunities present themselves, which, fortunately enough for this game, have actually come by.
Well, and the issue is that they have a team comp that should do very well against Cassidy because of how much CC they have and whatnot, and they've been able to burst on Cassidy a number of times, but it's how much damage and control Vladimir has had and Alistar. It's the Vladimir-Alistar combo with all of that AoE that is crushing Orbit, where they can't focus down Cassidy as much as they would like to.
Yeah. So just a nice, good overall comp over the end. There you go. Anchor not going to be getting anybody high on 9. Everyone from Orbit is forced to the Nexus Towers. Depth charge going down to Inubish, but there will not be a capitalization on that one. Probably does get healed after all of that chunk out from Nurse Orbit, but Ezreal ult looking to pile on even more damage. Vlad ult, that's a lot of damage coming on in. Cassidy getting a kill, Vlad getting a kill, and Demon Lull just trying to tack on a little bit more, trying to get that extra credit, and there you go, triple kill for Cruiser. The second Nexus turret is gone. Don't be doing that stuff. And there you go, focusing down the Nexus. Bananas and headbutts from Macau will get you there, and that's a lot of super minions. Holy crap. But there you go, game 1 gonna be going to Legion. Amazing, amazing job.
Yeah, really nice job from Legion, and I'm kind of curious if they might, if we might see some of these bans next game. Vladimir, not a champion that you normally ban. He usually makes it through, but yeah, he is banned occasionally. I really think that they need to consider banning out the Vladimir because Cruiser absolutely dominated that game. 13-1-6 at the end. So the AoE was the reason that they were able to run the comp that they did, and the reason they were able to win those fights. And he just absolutely destroyed. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Orbit responds.
Yeah, Vlad ended up being a huge problem. Most fed guy in the game, died once.
Yeah,
that's always good. To just 0 preferred.
Yeah. I was going to say,
0 preferred.
Dying once isn't good. Dying a few times is,
bad.
Is good. Dying once is great. Dying 0 times is phenomenal.
It's it's like I've only died once. I think I lived a good life. But so granted, there was a lot of good early advantages for the team comp that Orbit had. Nautilus was actually doing very well early on.
Yeah.
But That's how it goes.
Yeah,
That's
no,
how it goes.
it was a really nice job from Legion. I'm excited to see game number 2. So
Yes.
1-0 for Legion right now. IPL 5, or not IPL 5, IPL Face Off
Yes.
qualifiers for San Francisco. Disco in the Frisco.
No, we're
We'll
not
be able
calling
to-
it Disco in
we'll
the
be able to
Frisco.
see it.
We are not doing that.
That's the Disco in the
San
Frisco.
Francisco Showdown is the proper name, sir.
Well, that's the subtitle. It's Disco in the Frisco, the San Francisco Showdown. But we'll be able to check it out. We'll be back. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. We'll be back for game number 2 shortly.
See you in a second.